Jordan Duran.
Yeah. Oh man, it's kind of cool that. So it takes a little while for them to get in. The rolls on live. First podcast.
Yes, sir.
Really? Your
Mm-hmm.
brother did it for you.
Nobody wants to put me on their show, man. I'm controversial.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're just a dad that loves your kids. I mean, that's kind of what the whole life's about, right?
Nothing else is more worthwhile to put your energy into.
I never thought about being a father. Like when I became a father, it changed your whole life because you see these little minds being molded. And are you going to lead them or are you going to let them just figure it out for themselves?
You got to do a bit of both.
Yeah, but on the situation that we're here today for is role models and structure. I mean, growing up, you knew yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. So elders is very important. You're supposed to look up to your elders. That's how I was learned.
Yeah, well, we were in the Butler household. We were ruled by a size 12 Army boot. And so we learned real quick to definitely be respectful and take care of your affairs and don't disappoint the family. Do the best for your family and meet your responsibilities 100%.
And that's that's how you raise your kids, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I try to tell my kids that they shouldn't fit in with society. They should be an example to society. And if they have an opportunity, they know what the difference between right and wrong is. And when they have the opportunity to do the right thing, it's not always going to be easy, but it's going to determine uh, where they end up in life, whether or not they make the right decisions.
Can we go into how many kids you have?
I've got two boys.
Okay, names?
Brendan and Lincoln, 16 and 12, both little athletes. Lincoln had football today. We got fall ball, baseball coming up for Brendan. Lincoln's going to pass on fall ball, baseball for the first time ever because this is his first year playing football. So it's pretty exciting. Always busy.
Do you feel? Do you push them into the sport, or you let them figure out how to do the sport?
They just love to play. They're active boys. We've got a few acres, and they like to be outside and run around. And when they're real little, you as a dad are pretty much their hero. You're the best friend they got, and all that kind of stuff. They want you to participate and spend time with them and throw the ball. You throw the ball so much farther than they do. You're all these great things. So it's a true blessing in life to be a father.
And they know that.
Oh yeah.
And they know that. You have rules on how they play the sport.
Absolutely.
You give it your all. There's conditioning, and if you're going to do this, like my buddy Ronnie Wheat actually was one of the coaches at LSU when they won the championship. He actually left Baylor after that turn. Now he's back on the coast, but I remember his dad, he was a quarterback for Fancleve. And his dad was such a commitment that he used to rub dry milk on his calves. And now he married my cousin, but it's just having the dad to be there to be in any situation. Which right now, guys, I'm just tagging Andries into the podcast or family. This is Mike Butler's brother. So but they're them. I hate to say it, but y'all don't stare you're not trying to be something you're not. That's one thing I say. That's one thing I say about the Butlers. It's now you get what you get.
We got three more brothers too, and they're all unique as well, and they're all fathers.
One's flat Earth, and I want to have him on the podcast.
Yeah, you'd be really entertained with him, the Snook King.
Yeah, but it's still got a story.
Yeah, he's definitely got his talents, and he's got two great kids. His son, his youngest, just graduated college, and then we've got Maury, the oldest, and he's got a kid that just was Macbeth in New Orleans in an opera, and he's an internationally ranked opera singer, incredible. And his Maury's other son, Matthew, is an incredible, talented singer and actor, and following kind of right in his brother's footsteps. So um, we got an interesting group. We're
Yeah,
all
I was with Greg Peterson earlier, riding on a golf cart, telling me you're about to come on the show, and he said y'all went fishing together. And he said one thing about you: when you feel a certain way, you're passionate about it, and you're in it. Is that the whole same? Is that the whole Butler family where you're just you look at your brother with the Sands, you look at your like you like, and I haven't met your other brothers, but I'm saying like, I mean, were y'all raised to like just be authentic towards life? How was it at the Butler home growing up?
competitive. I mean, when you got five boys, I mean, we're fighting over frog legs for dinner, who's going to get the last set of frog legs, and then we go, dad, take you fishing and all that sort of stuff. It was $1 for the first fish, $1 for the most fish, and $1 for the biggest fish. And so, and our dad's quite a character. He's a Gold Star. We're a Gold Star family. So his father was killed on Iwo Jima. He served in the Army for 20 years and went to Vietnam. Um, Me and my brother Maury also served in the military. And we've just always been, uh, you know, go-getters, fired up, real patriotic, really into the American dream, living it out. Because I mean, we saw some beautiful parts of the country growing up, and had an outdoors kind of upbringing, hunting and fishing, and spending time in South Florida with our grandmother and hearing stories about our grandfather, fighting and getting killed on Iwo Jima. And we are all trying to live up to the expectations uh, that he left for us, our grandfather, because we're all inspired by what he did for the family and for for our country. And so we hold ourselves to a higher standard.
I mean, you look at the situation that we're going to get into what's really going on in that on a level, but I was on the phone with Butler, like he's at flag football today.
Coach.
Yeah, and it's just you do the same thing. It's just it's in y'all to lead the youth, and we know that was I was very curious. Like me and Butler have dived in a few things. Well, you're Butler too, so Mike,
Yeah,
let's
I
go.
know.
Let's go, Mike. All right, can't say it. But in the situation of you want the best for your kid, but you are a strict parent.
Yes.
They're not giving everything.
No.
You got to earn it.
And you got to keep it.
Yeah, but there's rules.
Yes, 100%.
So in your situation with this baseball program, which is the reason that we jumped so fast and 2 days on this was dealing with a program of, but you were coaching him, Brennan, which you were coaching Brennan and your boys, but you've always been there, whether you're on the sidelines or you're in the youth.
Right.
So kind of how the program should work, or how you think the program should work.
Right.
What can we go into what triggered you to really get emotional? Because I mean, you going from a dad working hard under a company, you're not going to really you're not going to lash out unless something hurts you.
I don't even lash out if something hurts me, because there's been other opportunities that I've had to lash out if something hurts me. But life is hard. I mean, and life is supposed to be hard, because you got to learn that the things that are worthwhile require sacrifice, require effort. If there's a payoff, the tougher the struggle, typically the better the payoff. The more risk, the more reward. So this whole episode with what I'm dealing with my oldest son and his baseball journey, this is not something that I relish at all. This whole going public about the situation that's happened, it's nothing that I wanted. Um, I tried every way possible to avoid it. It's been a 2.5-year process. So that's something that I think is really important for people to know, is that I'm not some dad who just got shocked by a system and, started going crazy. Not at all. We've toughed it out. We've had a lot of have done a lot of soul searching over years in dealing with a difficult situation. And I've approached, I've raised my issues directly to the people that were causing what I saw as issues. I've consulted with multiple other people who are victimized by the same system and heard the same problems um, and it's just come to the point where my son, out of respect for my son, he was put through something that no kid should have to endure from a leader, an adult leader, an adult supervisor, and an educator that's in a position of authority. He was put through something that he knows is dead wrong and was harmful to his well-being, and it was intentional. And he even told them, his exact words were, "Are you going to take your anger out on me too?" When they switched up and another coach became involved, and so it's been really tough on him. I don't know. It all started on the first day of school. My son, both my boys were getting home, and I'm usually not home. I'm a single dad.
This year?
This year.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's 2025, guys.
Right. So, I mean, it all started back in 23, but this episode started in 2025. I'm home on the first day of school to welcome my kids home and, talk to them about the first day of school, like every parent wishes they could do. And because I'm self-employed, I'm able to do that. So I was there. They got home. I'm like, "Hey, how was your day at school? Did you see so-and-so? All that. I want to hear the skinny, are your friends there? What's going on?" And Brendan Lincoln's blabbering on, "Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah," and Brendan's like, "I'm going to take a bath." And I'm like, "Going to take a bath." And he starts walking off. He said, "Brendan, stop." And I'm like, "How was your first day of school?" And he turned and looked at me, and his eyes teared up. And the first thing out of his mouth was, "Papa, I didn't cry in front of him." And when you know exactly what he's talking about, because you've been dealing with it privately, and directly for as long as I've been dealing with it, I don't know if I can convey the emotion that I felt, as far as, like, I basically failed my son, because every step that I'd taken up until that point got zero results. And I'm very result oriented. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm the only one responsible at the end of the day for my son's well-being. I understand that. So, I already felt like I allowed him to be in a vulnerable position for so long. And then this was the result. So I went directly to the principal and the athletic director. I filed an incident report with the sheriff at the school. I requested to see the video. They acknowledged the video existed. So then I went to the school board. I talked to a congressman from a different county, and because I was looking for advice, because I don't take steps without clearly defining what the risks are and what the possible avenues are, so that I know which is the best way to go, because I'm results oriented. I'm not just trying to throw a bunch of crap at the wall and see what sticks, So, and I also, as being with a military background, I know there's a chain of command. But anyway, I went to the school board, and they assured me that there was going to be an investigation, and that they would get back to me and they would handle it in a way that where my son would want to play baseball. But I told them at that time, I knew the coach had been there for a long time and he was near retirement. And I said, "No, I've already communicated with him. Here are the emails. Here's all the text messages. Here's everything that we talked about. My son is not going to go play for these guys anymore. They don't have his well-being at heart, So rewind a little bit. When he was a freshman, he was about 105 pounds, little guy. And in the picture that's online on your podcast, that was his freshman year. And that's the spring of his freshman year. So he kind of grown by then, but he's now almost my height. He's a big boy now. He's ready to play. But they had him squatting over 200 pounds as a brand new freshman who's never weightlifted. He had neck trouble, he had back trouble, he had all sorts of things going on. And me being a brand new parent involved in a system, I didn't want to rattle anything. You know, I was like all these other parents who are out there and who understand that you don't want to risk your son being punished because you're causing a problem for these coaches. You don't, and me as a coach as well, I know the last thing I want is a parent telling me how to do my job. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a professional coach, but I know that, you know, I know more of what I'm doing than most parents do, you know? And so my son was really complaining, and we had a lot of heart to hearts about his future. And son, you got to get through this. And they're trying to separate the good wheat from the chaff. And, we're trying to determine who wants it. Right. Well, whenever I was watching that first year, the team come onto the field, I noticed that all these kids didn't look like they were having any fun. And I just was taken back by it. I was like, wow. I mean, where's the fun? You know, like you want to see these kids having a good time, right? And excited to play baseball. But these kids look like they were defeated when they took the field. And I was silent the whole first year. And then the next year, my son, he didn't play varsity the first year. The next year, he was going to start playing varsity. And he's, like I said, he's a little guy, but he's a left-handed talented pitcher. And a left-handed pitcher, if you're any good, you got a pretty good.
What's he throw at? Like, what's the speed?
I don't know. He hasn't been.
He throw in the 80s?
I would say he is now. I'd say he's a big kid now. I mean, I don't know if you know, my brother's got an arm. I got a freakish arm too. Like I took some money from a couple people throwing a golf ball to a green several times. I didn't think it was possible. And I got, I've made some money off of this old arm right here. So we've always had some freakish arms, but none of us have been as accurate as Brendan. I mean, the boy got ice water in his veins. He's fun to watch. He's an old soul. He's made less errors in his entire career in baseball than I've made more errors in a single game, watching him. He's special. And a lot of people know that. I mean,
so let's go can we talk about like when he first, Butler, you better be in here somehow, some way, which I know you're probably I know you've been trying to read books, but let's go into like, so Brennan, like when you I know you talk about Brennan, taking that, doing that bath this year. Did he come out and talk about like, of course the heavyweights, stuff like that, but like it was, there should be a play of, I would say is, you got to build them up, right? You got to build them up. You can't, if you bring them down, you're not going to get your performance.
Right.
You looked at, like, for me, like, I'll tell you that right now, Carter's Champions, our nonprofit. I want everybody that's evolved. I've always been like, you got this. Because the moment I know that if I bring them down, they're not going to perform.
Right.
It's very common sense. Like, it's very, like, so you're saying not only Brandon, but a lot of the kids, you could see in their eyes, they're like, I mean, playing ball.
Right.
It should be fun.
These kids didn't come out to become the, world-class weightlifters. These are baseball players. This is not the football defensive line. And another thing is these kids are physically immature. If I'm in construction, my brother's in construction. If you build a door, each door that you build is different, to structurally, depends on what kind of door it is. Right. So you got a ninth grader that hasn't hit puberty or is just now starting puberty, or you got a senior that's on his way out of puberty. You treat them totally different on how their weightlifting routine, it's and their weight, just maybe even their position. You want a pitcher that can bench 300 pounds.
Never heard of that. Is that really, that's what you're trying to push for? I thought like playing baseball, you're more flexible is like stretching and working hard.
That's what my interpretation. But I mean, I'm for physical, building up these kids physically. I'm just for doing it in a safe manner, in a responsible
Yeah, but
manner.
I got a buddy, Richard Hawthorne, that owns Core Strong. He's like 128 pounds, 5'2", deadlifts 700.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
Deadlifts?
he's been in Men's Health. He doesn't do any steroids, doesn't like pre-workout, but he believes in stretching, and he lives by that. If you talk to Robbie Ellis,
Mm-hmm.
the stretching is more important than the weightlifting.
Huge.
Now you can lift, and I know, love you, Richard, but like, and Robbie, like they're paying attention to this, but I think the thing is like they're kind of missing the concept of like, yeah, you can add more weight to add more bulk, but in reality, like being flexible,
Right.
you can lift just as much, but you're using way more of your body.
Right. It's low repetition or high repetition, low weight gets that linear strength, that stretchy strength.
Yeah.
High weight, low repetition builds the bulk.
If you're playing baseball, though, like you got Caleb Bowman, he pitches for the Shuckers, or KC Hunt, the great guys, but they're not bulking up. They're stretching, and they're working weights, but they're working weight, and these are professional ball players. I mean, that you have to have flexibility, especially if you're going to throw 80 miles an hour.
Well. Here's the thing that really bothers me about the whole weightlifting program, and there's a couple things about it when it comes to these coaches. Number one, my son's been there for 2 years full time, so they've got him all fourth period, and then they got him for like 2 hours afterwards. Not one individual coaching pitching session for my son. Not one. They can throw the weights on him, throw his body weight on him and tell him to do it 60 times, pick it up and drop it on his chest like this incident when he's in muscle failure, and laugh when the wind's getting knocked out of him. But they can't show him how to grip a change up or, how to.
Do they know how to do that?
Well, the head coach's claim to fame was he was a left-handed pitcher for Mississippi State. So my son is the only left-handed pitcher on the team. You would think that there would be some sort of bond there or some way like, hey man, I might be able to show this kid something of what I got or what I had. Let me at least show him one day out of 2 years. I mean, that's an absence of compassion for your job. I mean, like, what is your job? You're a coach. Are you not going to coach this kid who will listen? Brendan doesn't shirk a task. He's an A and B student. I ask him to do something. Yes, sir. He's a good kid. He's solid. He gets up and he runs on his own. He wants to work out. He's like, Papa, when we going to work out? I mean, like, and then I can't do it today. I'm too busy. And he's like sad, he's upset. So he has the initiative himself and the drive to do it. He wants to play baseball. He's like, are we playing fall ball? When does fall ball start? He keeps asking me, I want to throw. When are you going to get a catcher's mitt?
So my question though is like one of the big stuff is like, why force like throwing the heavy weights? That has to do with anything about, I'm telling you, like in baseball, I mean, you have to stretch, you have to educate on like throwing a ball. Like that's a key. I'm not a coach. This is common sense.
Yes.
Like, I mean, look, Mark McGwire did it. He was on steroids. Okay. You bulk up, but like, if you're trying to pitch, your goal is not to throw 200 pounds or extra pounds. It's teach them how to throw better,
right?
Throw faster, work on the arm strength, like stretch the arm. Where you at, Neo Life? Robbie, come on, dude. I'm just saying that Robbie's always been, and Richard, like Hawthorne, both of them have always been like, people are so misled on the way you should work out. It's all about how you stretch and how because stretching will increase. But like, yes, I can't believe they didn't even like taking time that being a southpaw. So we say I'm left-handed. So southpaw is what we say.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
We're southpaws.
So let me tell you the story of why Brendan got punished, this whole incident, give you the whole details. Cause there's some sick twists to it. So we're a divorced family. And so half the summer, Brendan's at his mom's. And so he's unavailable when he's at his mom's. It's the only time she gets to see him for long periods of time. He's just unavailable. The other half of this summer, we had a family reunion in Florida. So there was half of this summer, half of a half when he was available. Coach has texted me that if he doesn't make a certain number of workouts, he's out of fourth period and he's got to try out in the spring. So I said, divorce sucks, coach. I'm sorry. You know, he wants to play the kid. We're working out. We're still doing all this stuff, whatever. He needs Brendan to be there. And I understand that you want one of your kids that's going to be a leader next year to be an example. Totally get it. But the kid's in a divorce situation. So I tell coach, I texted him, sorry, coach, it's not going to work out this summer. You got to do what you got to do. We're going to keep working out. We will see you in the spring. We hope to contribute to a successful season for West Harrison. End of it. Well, he still ended up in the fourth period class. So coach was blowing smoke, which I didn't need the extra stress, but whatever. So Brendan gets there, the coaches call him into his office, and the coaches tell him, this is what they told my son. We know that your father and your mother don't care about baseball, but we do. And, we're going to see you through.
Now, this is where it gets interesting.
So, yeah. So they told that to my son, and I've been coaching him since he was a baby. I mean, since the wiffle ball bat when he was 2 years old, and he, smacks me and hits me in the whatever. But for them to say that to my son was extremely insulting. Not only because I care so much about this baseball team at the school that I've spent my own money improving their facility. I retrofit the lights in the locker room to LED lights at my own expense on a parent volunteer day. I helped them redo some stuff in the concession or the dugouts. I had the entire locker room painted at my own expense, the team colors to help to try to build.
You are just like your brother,
dude.
It's like, I don't give a shit. Y'all are very y'all are all about your kids' sports.
Well, I wanted to build up the whole spirit decor. Like, I was like, I'm tired of seeing these kids look dead, like defeated. They need to feel like some camaraderie, like where's that? Like we care about each other. And the reason that they don't have it is because their coaches beat them down. And it's just remarkable to me that you would not lift up your people. Like if you're a leader, you want to get something out of people. Do you tell them they suck and they're weaklings and they're never going to amount to nothing?
No, because you'll never get anything done.
Their parents don't care about them?
Yeah, you'll never get that done.
No. Who are these people? Yeah.
So, I mean, I think another thing is situation was, I was going to bring this up to is, we're going to this whole, like we pulled Oliver out of Bayview Elementary. It was a choice that we decided to make because too much testing. The kids don't even learn how to do cursive anymore.
Right.
And we pulled him out. He's doing so much better. But you look at the situation where there's cameras everywhere. Every school has cameras everywhere. Why doesn't the parents have access to the cameras in all the classrooms?
That's huge.
Because they put the cameras on everybody. There's cameras everywhere. Why can't the parents, if your kid's there and you put cameras on a kid, let the parents have access to whatever's going on.
Right. There should be no problem with
that.
I
feel like it's an enclosed wall world because when I started, I'll be honest with you guys, I dropped out at St. Martin when I was 16 years old. Dropped out, best thing I ever did. And because I learned some cool stuff from school teachers. Shout out Miss Hill. Shout out to mythology. And there's things that I learned. Mr. Nelms that taught me how to learn how to HTML code a website. And there's certain things that I learned, but I did drop out at 16 because I wasn't interested anymore. And I'm glad I did. I mean, I really am glad I did. But in our situations, we didn't have cameras. Hell, at St. Martin, we didn't have AC in certain rooms. I'd bring fans. I just wanted to have some air on us because this was serious. We didn't have the good structure of HVAC. But you look at it now, and we didn't have cameras though either. Because I'm telling you right now, we didn't have any fucking cameras. But now it's cameras everywhere on these kids. And the fact that it's okay to have cameras on kids, but you can't have access to cameras, that is fucking bullshit.
Well, let me tell you. So they don't want me to see the video because they don't want me to see other kids. And I'm going to tell you my theory behind that. Every kid in there is lifting way too much weight. And there are probably other kids that are spotting them. So that's another thing. If you got a little 9th grader,
what's Brennan's weight
right now? He's 145. He was at the time
was about 5'11".
Yeah. At the time of the incident, he was 138 pounds and they had 135 on. Now, my boy benched 135 pounds 10 times. All right. So the boy did his own weight 10 times. Give the kid a baseball. He's strong enough. You know what I'm saying? Let's go pitch.
Yeah.
But they also supersetted him. So there was no rest period in between. So he had to do 4 sets of 15 of his own body weight. And in between the sets, he had to do a different exercise. So then, obviously, when you're in muscle failure and you got to do another exercise right away, you kind of cheat your body. You know, your form is going to be off. You know, like this is dangerous stuff for kids that are musculoskeletally underdeveloped. You know, like their whole skeletal systems are just solidifying, their frames are, you know, all this stuff's going on, like the joints, like it's unbelievable to me.
They hadn't even got a beard jet going
no
on.
Man, like dude, and I was really late in puberty. Like it was late. I was a shrimp. I didn't grow till my senior year. So I'm actually surprised that Brendan is as tall as he is. You know, it's like, it's crazy. Until they have hair growing out of their chin, they're still deep in the throes of puberty.
I mean, they're still babies.
Yeah, they're babies.
Yeah.
And so it's really sad, but my theory is that every kid in that video is being physically abused.
Do you look at the situations with the coaches that are like, are they fit? Are the coaches the same? Are they like, if you look at like let's say like Robbie Ellis, like, you know, he works out every day. Are they at his caliber of being fit?
I wouldn't think so.
So I mean, so they're pushing on this structure of how to be fit, but are they leading by example?
You know, when the society's a lot different, people don't run. I mean, there's a whole lot to be said about anaerobics and stuff like that as far as staying fit. And older guys like us, man, you try to get us to run and it better be Thanksgiving and you better be dragging a turkey behind your car and us chasing it.
So my thing about the whole fit thing is like, when did that actually be like the heavier, like, is that having exercise, stretching, working, eating well, and gaining some weight, putting stuff on, but it doesn't have to be heavy weights. That's what I'm talking about. I don't think it ever,
no.
You should never do heavy weights. Like,
no,
like, I mean,
look, I'm the father. If you're going to put my kid on a weightlifting program, I want to know what that program is. And I want to be able to say yay or nay, or make adjustments based upon the knowledge that I have. Do they know how big I am as their father? Do they know my whole family tree and how big we're going to grow and all that sort of stuff? They have no idea what they're doing to my son. That is my child. This is the same thing that's going on in California when they're telling these kids, you know, they're keeping them from their parents and doing all this other weird stuff with them. Oh, we're not going to tell the parents what we're doing with your kid on hormones and stuff like this. These are our children. We have a right to maintain the responsibility for for the well-being, the physical well-being of our children. And I don't come from a place of a family that complains about physical.
Fuck no, I don't.
Dude,
not at all.
Like, you know, we're not crybabies when it comes to like physical, you know, anything. So, except, you know, my kid is vulnerable when he's an adolescent. You know, he's adolescent. I'm not going to let a grown man, I'm not going to permit a grown man to do whatever he wants to do with my son's physical maturation process. You know,
I think the biggest thing is because he reached out to you about like I mean, he's trying to, these people that walk around this earth, especially like when it comes to like coaches or anything, these kids at that age, they're their role models. They look up to them. So they're, if you really have respect for elders, they're,
Right.
yes, sir. I'll do the best I can. But the moment they have I'm not big into the whole power trip.
Right.
And I'll tell you that, Spinner, I love you for this. We did a podcast with Spinner, and you can anybody can say whatever they want about Ivan Spinner, but we'll talk about the power trip. About, he knows where his kids are. He knows what he puts. Ivan's a dad that puts his kids on a calendar on the phone. They all know their mission, but don't get past that. Don't step behind that. Like, it's the kind of thing. It's like, you don't have like, it's more of like the power trip that you see in education now. It's like, I'm not for that shit. That's why we pulled our son out in the first grade. We moved over here. I think it's one of the best school systems, and it probably is the best school system. But for us, I pulled my kid out of school, put him homeschool, and then we put him in jiu-jitsu American top team. And he's doing way better than he's ever done. And, I think that's the hardest thing about this. Like, a lot of people I went to school with, they became teachers. But they never wanted to be teachers. They never wanted to be teachers.
Huh.
They're going to do other things. They're going to do other sport. They're going to do other sports. But then they settled on being a teacher, which I'm grateful for. My Emily's mom was a teacher for 35 years. Loved every second of it. Emily is a teacher right now.
Well, one of the gifts of being a teacher,
but you got to love wanting to do it, not settling on it.
Right. And you can't it's not a one size fits all for your students. Everybody's different. There's different ways you talk. Like, everybody's got their different love language. Everybody's got their different incentive. Like, they get excited about certain things. They like different subjects. So you have to really be, kind of nimble when you're dealing with kids and find out what the things are that drive them.
Do you know how me and Emily actually made a decision to put Oliver in homeschool? We're riding the minivan, which we have a Toyota Sienna. If you're a parent, expect you to have that van. It's the best Toyota van you'll ever have in your life. We're riding in a car, and this is first grade. He's like, because they're already putting tests on him, and he just is like, we're in the back seat, and he's like, I want to kill myself. And me and her looked at each other, looked back. He's like, because they keep testing every week on like the computer testing, less cursive, less socializing with friends. And then me and her looked at each other. She looks at me and goes, it's homeschool time. I said, all right, babe. Like, I'm only agree with it, because he was so stressed out about and they kept putting him in boost classes, and they kept putting him in. And I was sitting there talking to Leia. I was like, dude, like I am dyslexic. I'm ADHD. I was a kid that was always on Ritalin. I got off of it. But I think the hardest thing for me was like sitting with a teacher, because they're trying to tell me your son's going to be on boost because he can't read well. I'm like, he can read, but it's just, you're setting too many fucking limits. These kids coming up, they're not going to take over the world, because they don't have to me, they don't have like the social ability of skills or common sense. Like, they're not, Oliver builds robots out of cardboard. Like, he can't read, a fucking, a full book and understand it at times, but he's trying. And we made the decision, pull him out. And it's the best thing we ever did. And I see that with your son. Like, it's just like, there's these school systems want to set the boundaries, but in reality, the ones that want to set the boundaries, I want to hang out with them in a personal life. How they react, how they feel. Can we add extra weights to them?
No,
we can't, because they won't do it. There's a reason that's the thing is like, I looked at her and I was like, I'm not going to say the lady's name, but she was like, your son's this and that. I was like, I was that. I said, I've raised over $650,000 for my charity. Like, I have a GED. I've done everything I could for my family to have this. Like, I was like, that's one thing that like people don't realize is all my friends that have worked so hard to be the top of the list in school, there's a lot of them that they're still trying to figure out how to get a job.
Right.
And then I got my friends that don't have degrees that just work. Be a plumber, be an electrician, all you got to do is be consistent and make an effort. And you see that, but like with the education, with like the baseball, like how do they control your son's going to do great if they keep like putting heavy weights, or if you kill the mind, you kill it all.
Right. Or the heart.
It's killing it all.
Well, so since I came public, which once again, I went to the school board and I told them basically, look, this teacher or this head coach is about to retire. Let's keep this all hush hush. We've got the video. We've got the history of communication. We can prove that he's not doing a good job. The last couple of years, the last 5 years, the record for the team is like, I don't know, what, 40-80 or something like that. All right.
You already got to pull it up.
Yeah. It's like
this is Ivan Spinner word,
yeah,
right? No,
49-88 for the last 5 years. So that's not very good. Okay. And if he's supposed to be a left-handed pitcher and he's not even throwing left-handed pitches with his left-handed pitchers in 2 years, he's probably done. He's probably already retired in his mind. So let's just retire him. Let's get somebody who cares about the kids and who's not just checking his boxes and trying to make it to retirement. And let's move on. Especially this year, we got 7 seniors on the team. That 7 seniors couldn't win. They went 10-8 or 7 juniors last year went 10-18 that have played together their entire lives and have gone and won tournaments and all this sort of stuff. I mean, there's no life in this ball club. The batting coach, you watch the batting on our team and parents are like, what's going on with my kid? And the batting coach says, well, send him to my pay for clinic. Tells that to the parents, and the parents are like, well, you got my kid for 4 hours a day. How am I supposed to bring him to your clinic? You know what I'm saying? You got him 5 days a week, 4 hours a day. Why do I need to bring him to your clinic? And so who are these people? Once again, why aren't they showing that they care about these kids, that they have full access to these kids? And obviously these guys were talented at one time because they'd done well in baseball. What happened to their hearts? You know what I mean? Really, what has happened to their hearts? Where is their spirit for the next generation? Because it's non-existent, and it's hard to watch these kids be defeated when they're taking the field for the first time.
And have you had other parents? Have other parents like reach out about this?
I've had parents reach out to me that have had their kids go through this program in the last 10 years. I've had so many people tell me their kid lost his love for baseball and how he was bullied or made fun of for being slow or being heavy or having asthma or whatever, not being strong enough, just being picked at, not by the other players, but by the coaches. And educators have even spoken to my son and told them they're rooting for him. I've had coaches from other sports tell me that it's been an open secret that these guys are bullying, that this is a bully program. The parents, the other parents, I'm not going to put anybody else on the spot, but there's no pushback. There will be no pushback to the school district if they were to replace these coaches. I'll say that because we are all watching our kids lose their love for the game. And we have invested our lives into these kids to have fun. And this is supposed to be the best time of their lives.
What do you think labor with the lights and everything you put in? What do you think you put financially in? Ballpark number?
$4,000.
That's a lot. Just to make a difference for the boys and for the program. You didn't have to do that, did you?
No.
You just did it.
Right. And I don't want anything for it. I mean, I was wanting to paint the rest of the locker. I only did the locker room. I wanted to paint the hallway and take it in and do the coaches' rooms and all that sort of stuff. I just didn't have the time and stuff. And, they didn't even clean the locker room out for me like I asked them for before my painters got there. We had to clean it out. I'm like, clean it out so we can have everything ready. And it's pathetic. the effort for the kids, I would say it's worse than pathetic because it's actually injurious. It's counterproductive. It's not even like a weak attempt. It's like the opposite of attempting to get something out of these kids. The only thing that they get out of these kids is defeat. It does suck.
That fucking sucks. I mean,
try watching it.
I don't want to watch that because I'm telling you, I was telling Butler, it's just like because I knew, had a buddy reach out to us, and I'm not gonna say his name, but like I knew how to put him on because it's one person that I love, which I know he's watching right now, and he's a very important person. But I was like calling about volunteers for the Pink Dress Run, and he's like, go look at Andries' social media. Like, you need to have him on, and because he knows this is where my heart's at. I'm like, damn, man, like, I mean, like, I've already lived the life. Like, 5 days I'll be 39, or 6 days I'll be 39. Like, I'm okay. But like when you take like a 10, like just kids in general, like I've lived the life. Like, it's their time now.
It's the greatest thing to do is watch these kids like have those moments.
Let them
man.
go. Let them let them feel strength and let them be empowered. I learned a lot about my charity. Like, shout out if you know pinkdressrun.com, Carter's Champions, October 18th. But I'll tell you that when you can ask my board this year, you can ask them. I mean, we're grown people. They're like, can I do this? Like, do whatever you want. We're just friends raising money. Go, set it free. Empower people. When you empower the youth, they get so excited. It's like, that's why I quit going to jiu-jitsu with Oliver, because he's always looking at me for approval.
Right.
And I had to quit. I just stay down there and I'm hanging out with Johnny and Richard White. Because we're at Southern Elite or American Top Team, and I don't want to go up there because he's like, Dad, what do you think? Because all these kids want to have approval.
Right.
All they're looking for is approval. So
that's what my son said, is that all he wanted was for
the coach
to make them happy.
Yeah.
And he said he never could, no matter what he did.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, no, that's mental torture. That's like anguish, man. Like the people that you want to have just say good job, or like you're doing great, you're coming a long way. Nothing.
Yeah, you got Mike Sanford's the head coach, but like I don't go upstairs because I don't want to ruin. But I always tell him, like, boy, pay attention to coach.
Right.
Listen to coach.
Right.
It's the coach.
Don't look at me. Look at coach.
Look at coach. But like, it's just I see that as like a father. Like, hell, they just want they want the approval. I did too when I was a kid. I wanted to prove to my dad that I was this.
Right.
It's part of growing in life. Like, you want to make your parents proud. You want to be liked and loved. Then as you get older, you find out like who your real friends are. Then you find out, you're going to go through a roller coaster in life if you get in business. But when it comes to a youth, our mission is for the babies. Like, I stand on that 100%. Like, that's what Brennan is like. He just wants to be like, he wants to be acknowledged, and he wants to pat him on the fucking back.
He just wants to play baseball, man.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, just a little pat, like, hey, Brennan, you did a good job.
Yeah.
That goes a long way versus, how we are now. But like, that is important. Yeah.
Coaches weren't impressed that he did his own body weight 10 times? Because I'm impressed.
I'm fucking impressed. At 150.
Yeah. Come on. I'll be like, no, we're going to make you do it 50 more times. And now we're going to pick it up. Then when you're in muscle failure, and then we're just going to release it. And when it hits your chest and you gasp for air or knocks the wind out of you, we're going to chuckle and think it's funny and keep doing it.
No, I'm not fucking for that.
Who is?
I'm a lot of people, guess.
And you think, well, but I mean, they're going to protect them. The school board did an investigation that they took some sort of action, which this is another thing. This really sticks in my craw. If the school board would have said, if you guys don't make it right with this family, you're out. Those coaches should have called. They should have had me and my son come to that office, and those coaches should have said, Mr. Butler, Brendan, we should have never done that to you. We were wrong. We're going to change. We're changing the way that we conduct our weightlifting now. We lost sight, whatever. We weren't educated enough, whatever. We were wrong. We're now going to institute this new plan. Please, let's let it go. Water under the bridge. Please accept our apology. We made a mistake. Please, let's play ball now. I would have told my son, we can't ask for anything more. Men still learn.
I think he would tell you that too.
Yeah, men still learn. Men still,
yeah.
If you take accountability, you still are learning.
I'm over the fucking system. Like I said, my little boy is no longer in fucking school because of, I don't know how he would be educated or built up because, they take that away from him now. And I will not fucking allow that anymore. I really, it was the hardest decision because, we full-time homeschool. Emily does 10 times more than me. I mean, shots to my babe.
Said.
No, yeah, no, but no, but it's still educated on the fact that, if you look, man, nobody made anybody be a teacher, right? Most of my friends that got their what school, they never want to be teachers. Then all of a sudden they became teachers. That's your fucking job. Well, the kids are a problem too. Whoa.
Yeah.
You can get a job somewhere else.
Right.
I'll get you a job right now at Workman's Cabinets, and you can fucking make cabinets. But there's jobs that are there, but you signed up for the job.
Right.
You committed to be in these kids' life. Don't act like it's a problem. Go find another fucking job.
Well, and then here's the other thing. This is where it's really, the whole system is jacked up, and there's things that need to be looked at because talking to some educators, I've heard stories of other educators. This is inside the house kind of stuff that I would never have known had I not come out and said something. But they say that teachers that have, so some kids have disabilities and they have what's called an IEP, like how to deal with them, things that are reactions and all that kind of stuff. But how they have injured some of these students, like grabbing things from them or scratching them and making the kids lashes out because you took something from them, but it's in, you don't take anything from this kid because they are feeling secure when they have it or whatever. And then the kid ends up getting hurt. The teacher knew this. Teacher's responsible for that. But then somehow the video is unavailable or it didn't exist or, and now years later, that same educator has not been terminated. Not only have they not been terminated, they've now been promoted. So now they're higher ranking in the system that is designed to protect the same kind of acts that they committed in the past. So how does that work out when you have an organization that
it's tax funded?
Right. This is a tax. That's the other thing. Where's the accountability? It's a bureaucracy. It's an absolute bureaucracy. Yeah, Shad White's up there. He's got Moj, and Elon had Doge, and we need Hoj, man.
I'm just, guys, if you have anything to say, it's just a real thing. I hope you have kids. If you have kids, I hope you understand this is how the system works. And it's been a big problem lately. You see it through sports, and you see it through everything.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing was when I found out kids are not really doing cursive or the social, when I went to St. Martin,
critical thinking.
Yeah. When I went to St. Martin, it was just recess, playground, meet a friend.
Right.
And I met some of the greatest friends ever. But it's a whole different system now. Testing, separation.
Because it's all about funding, federal funding. You get certain test scores, you get more federal funding.
But then you look at how do you make a really happy athlete? Because if the boys lose the passion to play baseball, what the fuck's that land them?
I don't know, but right now, if my son is not playing baseball, when he is as good as he is and loves baseball as much as he does, as an undersized sophomore, he had a 1.4 ERA, and they only put him in when the bases were loaded in the last inning, when nobody else wanted to pitch. And the kid has ice in his veins. I don't know how he did it, but for them to take this from a kid like him, that if you told him you could ask him to do anything and he would do it. You know, he's the kind of kid that you want as a coach. And I know everybody says that stuff about their kids, but I'm telling you, the next one I probably won't say the same things about. The next one, he needs a bonk on his head. I tell you, a bonk on a beanie to stay alert, because he's a little he gets sidetracked. But Brendan is laser focused on whatever he's doing, and like I said, he's an old soul, which is why I can't ask him to continue to endure something that he knows is against his own well-being.
You reached out and you've reached out several times. So one of your posts was show me the video.
Yeah. Show me the video. The video, like I said, is going to show what I believe is a mill of abuse. And all the parents out there that have freshman athletes and these young kids that are out there, I think it's going to be horrific. And I really think that everybody needs to get on board. And I understand, as a parent who also was silent for most of the first 2 years. I mean, I wasn't public. I was direct to the coaches about my feelings. You don't want your kid to be punished for you saying something, but the cat's out of the bag now. The cat is out of the bag. I am not going to let up. I love my son too much to allow this injustice. You know, that's my boy. That's my boy.
All right. So guys, we're going to, this is our closeout on the show. And I want to say this though, is for the people that know you're more, that or have a different opinion, you're more than welcome to come on with me and Andries, and have an open discussion live, same way we did tonight. Reach out to me. This is not a joke. It's about mental health. It's about building the youth, and we love you guys. What's your company?
NAC.
NAC. What does NAC do?
We're a construction company and commercial lighting company.
So if you need that, go for it. But the people that are looking out, the coaches, more than welcome to come on. We're here waiting. Build the youth. And I'm going to leave it at that. If you need insurance, Oliver Scott. You need Pink Dress Run tickets. We've raised $650,000 plus for the local hospital here at Memorial. We've got to run. Donate money if you need to. You want to be a sponsor, do that. Guys, open platform. If you want to come on, Ivan Spinner's always said this. I've been in email threads through the stuff he's been through. I was telling him, it's like, this kind of reminds me of us being together. You're more than welcome to come on and tell your story. Love you guys and thank you so much. But don't fuck with the youth.
Support youth sports. Thank you, Jordan.
All right. Hey, I do like you better than Butler. Love you guys. Thank you so much.